morning. Today, October 9th, it's 9 a.m. And this is the Blue Ribbon Committee on Miller School. And we are delighted to open our meeting. First on the agenda, and all are present. First on the agenda is, of course, the approval of the minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I have two things that need to be corrected. Under new business, John Newbold, it says engineering studies or details on the Gilbert Trust.
Hold on, let me pull
Sorry.
them up, please.
Oh, sorry.
I forgot to pull them up, but we've got issues with my internet over here, so. Hold on one second.
The third line.
Okay, start over the beginning, please.
Under new business, that first part, John Newbold, update with the school board. The second line of that, it says, school district had any engineering studies or details on the Gilbert, it should be Gilbert Trust, not Gilbert. Just needs a T on it.
Oh,
And then, two paragraphs down, Commissioner Lori announced the city commission, blah, blah, blah. The third line says there was discussion about the retention pond on parcel B, and that actually should be parcel C.
okay. Should parcel be capitalized?
That's fine, yeah, that's.
Huh?
Yes, that's fine.
I wasn't sure if I should capitalize that because they're pertaining to a building.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay.
Move that be approved with changes?
Did you make the motion?
Yes.
All right, I second it. All those for approval, aye?
Aye.
Aye. So approved.
Thank you.
Next is funding feasibility study. Any update?
As Mr. Brohart can tell us, we did get the updated proposal from REG, and did you sign it, you signed it and returned it to them?
I haven't signed it yet, pending discussions.
Okay, I did look it over, and I just sent a copy to you, I don't know if you wanted, for our record, I don't know if you want to print it out, but it's just basically the same proposal, just updated the dates and everything on it, so, so it's all ready to go, and it's the $120,000 for the 5 buildings. This is discussed, and that's what the city commission authorized. And so they're ready to go whenever we return the contract and send them information. They'll coordinate a schedule and come up here.
Should we talk about refining the scope of the work?
I mean, the scope is very explicit. I mean, it's spelled out in the proposal. As far as actually the steps that you would go through, this is kind of step number 1 as far as the historic resource survey. It's a historic resource report. And that's kind of, it's just like they did for the Newman Lodge for us. It's kind of the starting point. They do the scan and they do the plans of it, of the building, and they evaluate the historical significance and give us all kind of rundown of that, and also look at it and have an engineer come in and look at it for engineering and any sort of bad spots and highlight that. So.
In our earlier discussion, we talked about perhaps in their introduction to the project, of course, which there'll be their summary piece. They might make certain points that would help us, especially the concept of bringing in partnerships.
Okay. I mean, you probably have the chance to meet with them when they come here. And I can talk to them about that if you guys would like, as the BRC would like to talk to them, or individually. Once we give them the contract or get it signed, then they'll be able to schedule something and we can work out dates of when the actual people will be here in town, if you want to meet with them.
Well, I think that would be wise for us to do that, and there may be other aspects of this first step to enhance. Any other comment?
On that note,
Any comment from the audience,
If I may,
please?
Good morning, Danny Miller. As regards the REG proposal, I didn't bring it with me, but I did re-review it very carefully 10 days, 2 weeks ago. Excuse me. And that was a very generic, kind of plain vanilla proposal, and it roughly set forth the scope of work. But in the cover letter, there was very explicit language that, I can't remember the exact quote, but it said, essentially said this was a plain vanilla proposal and subject to refinement upon discussions with the client. This is a critical first step in what will ultimately probably become a multi-million-dollar project. And it's the first step, and it's important that the city get off kind of on the right foot. I would suggest that before executing the contract, that someone with a lot of experience in projects of this type, and that, again, envision the big project, just not the first step, sit down and very methodically go through that proposal and get any questions or answer clarifications on the intent and whatever. And it's important too that REG understand the full scope and kind of where the city is headed on this, so that what they deliver will most closely match our needs. It's almost like a pre-construction meeting. So to execute a contract and move forward on a plain vanilla contract prior to that pre-construction meeting and conference might be a little premature. Thank you.
Thank you.
good point.
So as you all know, I've worked with them before and have a strong relationship with the owner president. I've reached out to him by calls. I said I would in our last meeting. I did hear back from him late yesterday with a message. He's just returned from Italy. I'm delighted to, I'm going to speak with him, and I'm delighted to talk to him about this proposal. But I would certainly like input from the group as to how we might correct him.
I'll take a look at the plan and just go through with the fine tooth comb as well.
Thank you, Michael. And perhaps you and I could get together and discuss it. I'm sure that with the storm that Rick is very busy. So BJ, it's been approved, correct?
Mhm.
yes,
So we're only waiting for a signature.
correct.
Can I just add something to that? Because of the storm, we were out of power here, and I couldn't get onto my system from home, where I did have power. However, they're waiting for me to do the minutes from that particular meeting so that they have approval from the commission in order to write a $120,000 check. So that's what they're waiting for right now, and I plan on doing it first thing this morning. And then I forgot we had a BRC meeting, and then I have a meeting afterwards. So, but I'm gonna try and get them done today so that Michael will be able to make a signature put a signature on that paper so that the check will go out this week for them. So that may be part of the delay too, because they were both at my office yesterday asking me about the minutes.
And according to the contract, we don't pay up front. We wait for an invoice. So, I mean, the money's been authorized, and we just have to have the contract signed to make sure that the ARPA funds are committed, because we are running very close to the deadline. And I don't, the closer we get, the more nervous I get.
The deadline being the end of the year, of course, yes, yeah. So my next question is, should we wait a week and then, or think about it and then discuss it at our next meeting?
I'm just not sure what we're discussing. I mean, if you want me to set up a meeting and he comes and talks to all of us, that we can do that. I'm just not sure what's wrong with this proposal. Because you guys obviously see something that I don't, or you want something different than what this is proposing. Even though this has been the same proposal since April that we've had before us. And this is also what the city commission has approved. So honestly, I don't know what's wrong with it, but they're the experts, they're the architects. We hired them and we have them on contract for a reason.
BJ, I'm not saying they're saying that.
It's Commissioner Lori, actually, when we're here in the meeting, please, not BJ.
Oh, pardon?
Commissioner Lori.
Oh, Commissioner Lori, thank you. I'm delighted to meet your request. Commissioner Lori, as we discussed earlier, among us, we thought it would be wise to give them some direction on the scope of work. And as I just stated in this meeting, we talked specifically about how it could be beneficial to us in the short term with this first step. So we're not looking to drastically change this in any way. We're looking to enhance it, that's all. Not to complicate it, but to complement it.
Yeah, I mean, they use the Secretary of Interior standards and guidelines for architectural engineering documentation.
And we're not disagreeing with any of that.
I don't understand what, this covers everything that I understand that should be done. If we want to talk to them about the narrative and what the project is, we can do that in person when they come up here. I don't understand why that has anything to do with signing a contract and getting that paperwork done. That's just kind of a technical, legal thing that needs to be done and taken care of, and we have a process to do that.
So they have a clear understanding what this commission is looking for.
Okay, well, they can do that when they come here and talk to us.
Or, we can reach out with them before, or you're right, they can come and talk to us about it. And we can delay the signature until after that has happened.
I just don't know why we're delaying anything. I want the signature, I need the contract to get signed, and
Do you think it makes any difference to delay the week?
because not only that, but finance has to go through it, the city manager needs to sign it, it needs to give it to them. We need to make sure everything's in order. We have to trade W-4s or W-9s or whatever it is. I mean, there's more to it than just signing a piece of paper.
Well,
And honestly, it's really,
we're certainly familiar with
to
that.
hold it up is just kind of silly. I don't understand what the point is of that. And really, it's something that the commission is issuing, not the BRC. It's really something that they're paying for.
Commissioner Lori, I agree with you. However, we are here to advise
Right.
and give comment. And so we shouldn't hesitate to do that.
Okay. Well, you can advise and give comment when they come up here and do their site visit.
Yes, and then after that, it can be signed.
No, they're not gonna come up here, spend money coming up from Miami or wherever they're from, without a contract being signed and having an actual, contract in hand for the project they're gonna be doing. Why would we have them come up here first and spend money and expenses when they don't have a contract for the job?
That's up to the donor. That's up to them.
But there's no
Commissioner.
reason to do that. They've been here before, they know the school.
Dan, you're asking for details?
I'm asking for us to give them some direction on this study.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, can't we do that once they come up here and just talk to them about it? You wanna do it?
Sure, yes, of
You know,
course.
you wanna do it before the contract is signed?
That's traditionally how it's done. And I've done many of these large projects.
Okay.
Would
This is-
anyone from the audience like to,
If I may,
please?
please add. It's important to begin a project with the end in mind. Perhaps I missed it. I'm not aware of any detailed conversation that was had with REG, said, this is our objective. REG did what I presume they always do. You had mentioned that, gee, they gave us the same proposal that they did for the Blue Moon Lodge.
No, this is the same proposal that they gave us originally in April, just updated the date. So this was a
And it's
different
all,
proposal.
yeah, but it's the same form.
Right, just like I'm
Okay.
sure every proposal that they do.
I'm not trying to be argumentative, I'm just trying to convey a point. And if you look and read very closely their proposal, they essentially say, this is generic, this is
Right.
plain vanilla. And it's clearly, and then they say, we'll do this, and this. From a macro view, gee, that's great. But there's a lot of room in there to go, okay, you're gonna provide this, explain what that is, and the committee or whomever would be speaking with, and perhaps the chairman would be thinking, okay, how does that mesh with what I understand the end goal to be? And you'll get a more tight proposal that delivers something that more, that better supports the objectives of the Blue Ribbon Committee in the city. I understand the concerns about not unnecessarily delaying the project, certainly a valid concern. I understand the question of, gee, why would they come up here without an executed contract? It seems a simple thing for someone, the chairman presumably, who has a past relationship with this firm and also past experience in this type project, multi-million-dollar historic property, to have a Zoom call with them, walk through the proposal, get any questions answered, hear but what about this, but what about that? I'll give you an example in a minute. Pardon me. And have that proposal fine-tuned, be quickly done. And then when it comes in, you've got some words changed. You've got the end product that's being delivered a little more focused on this specific project as opposed to a generic approach. The money doesn't change, the timeframes don't change. It's just more focused. I'll give you a for instance, just springs to mind. One of the bullet points in that proposal was we'll provide a PowerPoint presentation. What I picture is that's something that's similar they delivered with the Blue Moon Lodge. We've heard from Mr. Newbold that the school district is going to need a presentation. They're going to need a narrative and that kind of thing. Well, the question that might spring to mind is, REG, we're going to need this. You're already preparing it. You have capabilities in-house. Can you, are you willing, it's a simple nibble on a contract. Can you support us in this? And so it's not only a presentation to the Blue Ribbon Committee or to the commission or whatever the process is, but they can massage that perhaps it might be useful for public presentations, for the school district, whatever. That's just a little nibble. There might be other opportunities for nibbles in the contract. But again, the bottom line, get something more focused. We certainly don't lose anything. I'll hush. Thank you for indulging me.
I just really don't understand. I mean, yes, it's a generic contract. Every job starts out as a generic job, and then they will fine tune it and come up with a product and give us a final report. And that's gonna change once they get here and they talk to us, or they see the project. I don't understand why we're fine tuning it beforehand when they already are aware of the project. We've already talked about it with Charles Rudd several times, and I've talked to them both about it, Dr. Laura and Rick, and it's just, I don't understand what, what the problem is, or why you guys, and actually, I mean, it doesn't really matter, because this really isn't up to you. This is something the commission is doing. The report will come to you, and as far as the deliverables for the PowerPoint presentation, they'll give us anything we want. We just have to ask them for it. But I don't understand why that has to be fine-tuned and put in a contract. It just seems like you guys are trying to, fine-tune this to death or micromanage it, and I just would rather get them going.
Thank you, Commissioner Lori, for your thoughts on that. But once again, I don't see this as a problem. I think it is, again, as an enhancement. They have not heard from us. We have been charged by the commission, as you know, to review and to give our opinion. We have done a great bit of research on this, have a great deal of information at this point. We've certainly talked about our vision on it, and we have a lot to share with them. You're right, the final decision rests with the commission, but we're here not to be silent, but to complement. And with that information, other people will make decisions. However, we should continue to have a voice.
And like I said,
So let's, I think we've discussed this sufficiently, and I suggest this, to move this forward respectively, that I call, that I make a simple call, and today or in the morning, to them, and get back, with, Michael and, share my information with them.
that's up to you and up to Michael, but
So that's only waiting a day.
well, it's better than waiting a week. I don't know why we were.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll proceed with that in mind.
Yes. Yeah. So moving along, our next, agenda item is, scope of mission. Any comments on that? Any ideas, thoughts?
I don't know what that means.
Well, if that, our mission at this point is to start working on our story that's gonna go before the school board. And that has to be, we have to start working on that. And there's 3 of us that are assigned to start working on that. You just can't put it together in a few minutes.
Well, I think a large part of that is we're waiting on the title opinion, or the abstract opinion, which I understand will be, is supposed to be, excuse me, supposed to be done next week. is what Krista Harrison told me. So as soon as we get that report, we can start putting that all together from the title, from Gullet Title. It's supposed to be ready next week, I believe.
So the three of us need to find a time to get together.
And I would suggest sooner than later, prior to title work.
Okay.
I mean, certainly you're right, Commissioner, that's certainly going to, add to it. But there's plenty of work to be done now. Thank you. John, any update with the school?
Well, I haven't had a whole lot of success in all that I've asked for. We do have the asbestos report, which is 84 pages long, and I think each of us has a copy. You need to look that over. I've been through it primarily, and I don't see anything glaring in it. Mostly it's negative. I've asked for information about the retention ponds, and Travis Wood's response is we have no measurements on the retention pond, which I was appalled at. Anyway, we have measurements.
Yeah. They're there.
Then I asked for environmental
Yeah,
studies,
that's where I got it from.
engineering studies, and he said he knew of none. So we're not getting very far with those requests. But at least we have the asbestos study.
Any success in getting building plans
Building plans,
of the structures, any plans of the structures?
I did not ask for building plans, I can ask for that.
But I think we did mention that when we met with them at Blaga. I know they don't have plans for the main building. I think it was the newer buildings that they had, like the cafeteria that they add on. I think the media center might be the only thing that I think they mentioned having. So,
Well, they should have for building 15.
which is that?
That's the one that's right up against the street.
Oh, yeah, that's
one of the newest
a brand new
buildings.
one. That's, in fact, those are on the water management site too, or the water management district. That's where I found the plans for the retention ponds. I just don't know if they're both there, because at one point they were gonna move one of them. That was it was on the south side there, and they were gonna move it over like 50 feet or something, I guess, to make the track workable. And I just don't know if that ever happened, because there were several permits in there, that they pulled the permits and then kind of sat around for several years and didn't happen. So I don't know if the actual ponds, if the pond was moved or not, but there should be a pond there on the south side. And then there's that other horseshoe pond that they built when they were doing the cafeteria. I guess there was one of them was from the media center and one was from the cafeteria. So there should be two ponds on the property. One right along Lake Crescent and one right along the south parcel, the south property line. And those both have line, take in stormwater from those buildings there. So kind of necessary.
So it may be time for another face-to-face meeting and more deep, we need a list of all the things we want from them and explain to them the importance of it. I think they could dig deeper and find some more information.
Thank you, John. That would be extremely helpful, particularly with REG moving forward. I mean, any documentation that we can provide them.
I need requests to go before them, to come to my email, so I can compile a list.
Yes, Mr. Miller.
In this conversation, I've been reminded of something else that I had noted on review of the REG proposal. By way of background, I have no doubt that the school, with all the construction projects and that kind of thing, is really covered up. And it's understandable that they're perhaps somewhat reluctant to do a deep dive for some of this information. The approach might be to prioritize. Now, what do I mean by that? I would suggest that perhaps in the conversation tomorrow, whenever, with REG, ask them what specific information might we provide that would be helpful to them in this first step. Their what's it, historic survey or we'll call it engineering report.
Historic resource.
Historic resource report. What information might they like to have? That would become our priority list that could be submitted to the school district. And hopefully we would have that ready before they come. You know, one example of why to go through this extra step. And then follow up by saying, now, what other information would be helpful in a construction phase? Don't necessarily need to compile a list, but we'll need, that's something that we would need to begin thinking about. Picturing if all of the efforts of the city resulted in a letter of intent, which leads to a contract. Typical language would be that the seller provides requested information. And it's kind of broad language, but it says we ask for it, you give it. Because the buyer has to be fully informed as much as possible. And then with the secondary list, with the support of the contract, it could be presented to the city. But I suspect there is some specific information REG might find most helpful for the purposes of their historic resources report. Thank you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does. Well, very well. And thank you, John, for requesting information, a list of items to obtain from the school.
Totally successful, but I haven't attempted, all right.
Yes, yeah, no, indeed. And Commissioner Lori, more update on title search?
As I said, I got an email from Krista Harrison from Gulf Title, and she says that the research, actually, here, I'll just read it for you. She said that she talked to Mr. Gullett, the last of the researching should be finished up next week, and this was last week when she emailed me, October 8th. And should be finished up next week by the 18th. Then Mr. Gullett will do a review and produce the title opinion report the following week. So we are expecting to be completed around the 25th or 28th.
Was that in that price range?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Okay. It's kind of, that was quick.
Well, we had already got them started on it,
Oh, okay.
or they had already started on it.
Thank you. Any other business this morning?
We need to set a meeting time for our next meeting.
Same time next week?
Hold it on.
Next Tuesday,
Hold on. It's Tuesday. It's Eagle. 22nd at 9 o'clock.
And also, I believe tonight at the commission meeting, which is really weird having it on Tuesday. Tonight's commission meeting, we should be appointing 2 more members, so we will have a full 5 by next week.
Yes.
Here.
Robin's like the pressure.
Any comment on our 2 candidates?
I'm happy that they are willing to serve. And, I mean, we ask for a lot, I think, so if people that are passionate and willing to work on this and are willing to bring their experiences are what we need. So, and I think both, I know Nancy will be that, and Dr. Jordan, I believe, is very enthusiastic as well, so I'm happy with the choices.
I think they both have a passion for our project and
Mhm.
are well informed, so I'm pleased.
I was happy to see that we had two people, so.
Ron, your thoughts? You support both candidates?
I'd just like to mention that we lost a great deal of knowledge when Barbara had to resign.
Mhm.
Yes.
She was very helpful and had a vast knowledge of information we could use.
Who's that?
Barbara.
I'm Bob.
Barbara,
Barbara.
the loss of Barbara.
Yeah.
She had to resign.
Yes, yeah.
You just need to keep Barbara in your prayers.
Yes.
She's going through some tough times.
And Ron, what do you think about these two candidates?
I'm in favor. Of course, at this point, I'm in favor for anybody that can help us.
Yes,
And, I've said all along, we need to get more than just recently the three of us involved.
agreed. Well, excuse me, when we spoke of the vacancies and the need, we spoke about a financial person and a real estate person. These two candidates I think will be a strong complement to our team. And I'll be attending the meeting tonight, in support of them. And I'm delighted to hear that we all agree. I think that, each candidate will bring, an expertise, and a great benefit, to our team. Nancy, is a lifelong resident of the community. As we've heard, she has a great passion for it. And she is a math major, a businesswoman, has been a businesswoman, a teacher. And then Dr. Jordan, of course, has a great many strengths. Currently, of course, he's Commodore of the Yacht Club. He's a member of the Downtown Partnership organization. He has been a director of the St. John's Regional Audubon Society, and numerous other responsibilities. So I think that they're going to be great to help for us. Moving forward, we may find the need to put a request in to add more members, once we define what our future needs are. But I think that, moving forward, these two candidates, will, be a great asset to us. Okay,
And our ultimate goal is to put ourselves out of business and conclude this purchase.
yes. With little financial burden on the city.
That's right.
All right, well, thank you. Again, is there a motion to adjourn?
I so moved.
Second.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Larry?
I think the three of us.